Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a tutorial on this makeup look. Now before you say, another cut crease, more neutral shadows, hold up. You guys all highly requested this makeup look after I posted it on Snapchat and Instagram. So the main focus of this video today is not so much the shadow colors that I use, although I am using the new Sweet Peach palette by Too Faced. It's gonna be more about the technique of doing a cut crease when you have a problem with an undefined, let's call it an undefined crease. You know, just like something that's not as defined. You wanna create your own crease. This is really what I'm doing and teaching you in this video. So if you are interested in that technique, then keep on watching. So I already have one eye complete, and the whole purpose of this cut crease tutorial is to show you that if you have no crease or if you have a very little crease, you can create your own crease and still achieve the look of having a defined lid. So if you look over to this bald eye over here, you can see the crease here. So if I were to just put the eyeshadow in this crease right here, if you look really closely, once I open my eye and look normal, it starts to fold like an accordion into, there it goes, it's gone. The crease is gone. So that's what happens with my eyes. This used to not be the case. I know I've mentioned it before, but literally my crease shape has changed recently. So I know I've said it and I've said it and I've said it, and I think that's because I'm adjusting to it, but you know what? I'm adjusted to it now. And so I'm gonna show you guys how I create the cut crease now that I have this situation. So the first thing we're gonna do is take MAC Soft Ochre, and you wanna prime the whole lid up to the brow bone, and I'm using a Zoeva Buffer Concealer brush, taking just a really light layer and applying it all throughout the lid. So now taking a matte eyeshadow, this is standard with every eye look. You wanna set any cream base, and that way, once you apply any shadows into the crease, the shadows are gonna glide smoothly across the crease. And it's totally okay if this gets caught on any cream product because it's the same color essentially as the base, so you don't really see any of those harsh lines or edges. So I make sure to apply a lot more of the bone shadow right here on the higher part of the brow bone, because that's gonna serve as our brow bone highlight. I have this little bumps here. I don't know what I put on my eyelid, but it like gave me a tiny little 3-bump situation going on. So now going into the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, which smells ridiculously amazing, I'm gonna pick up Summer Yum, and I'm gonna be using the Luxie 231, which is one of my favorite crease brushes at the moment. So what I like to do when applying the transition shade is taking a little bit of that eyeshadow, dotting some of it off on my hand. That way I can lightly map out the crease shape. Because my crease all folds in here, this is where I would do it, but it's gonna fold. So if I do it right here, it will fold in and then there will be no more crease. So here though, I don't have the folding problem, so I'm gonna start it normal along the crease here. But then as I get up into the higher area, I'm going to take it higher than my crease. And this is a more dramatic shade. You don't have to go into the brow bone like how I'm doing here, this area, but I'm going to because that's what I did. And as you can see, I'm lightly feathering this eyeshadow just so I can get the shape down. You don't want to go in too strong right away. I'm also gonna lightly shade it all the way out to the outer part of the eye. So as you can see, the shape is starting to come out. And then I'm gonna blend that upwards towards the brow bone, but now I have the least amount of product, and this is gonna give us a nice gradient. And you just wanna buff those edges. Make sure to be looking forward when mapping out your crease because, you know, if you aren't, you may be looking like this, and then once you open your eye, your crease will not be where you want it to be. Now that I have the essential shape, I'm going back into the same eyeshadow, and I'm gonna start deepening the crease closest to the crease line. So you want the shadows to get darker as you get into this part of the crease, and then fade lighter as you go up to the brow bone. So we're gonna start putting more product here. Now this technique may not work for every eyelid because of course we all have different eyelid shapes. Some people may not have enough space above their crease to do this. but this is just how I've found it easiest, so hopefully it'll work for some of you. And I know this palette is sold out right now. I didn't know before I offered to do the tutorial. But the good thing is that you could use alternative shadows for this look. So next I'm gonna pick up a dark brown eyeshadow. You guys could use anything you have at home. I'm just using this dark brown shadow from the Tartelette palette. I'm picking that up on a Sigma Firm shader brush. So I'm gonna dust most of that product off. Now I'm gonna tilt my head back, and you wanna place this right into the crease, but lightly. It's almost like a light graze, just a light graze. There's really no pressure at all on my hand. And I'm lightly sweeping the shadow upwards. You always have that blending brush to go over the initial edges that you made with that dark brown, just to get the gradient. You want like a thicker, I'm using this thicker brush for the first pass at the dark brown, because I do want it to go up slightly higher than my next pass at the dark brown. And if you get any eyeshadow on your lid, don't worry, we're gonna go over that with the lid color anyways. So now I'm just gonna take a smaller brush. This one is by Zoeva, and it's a detailed shader brush, and I'm dipping it straight into that dark brown again. And this is really just gonna go into the crease that we're making. You're trying to really create your own depth. So you always wanna have the darkest line where you want it to appear the deepest. I would like to be able to eat cereal out of the deepness of my crease once I'm done with this. Of course, blending brush right next to me with that leftover transition shade just to buff edges as we go. And you're basically just gonna keep building that crease. So next we're gonna go ahead and pick up this light peach color and pack that onto the lid. Did I pick up the wrong color? Aw, that's not the color I was supposed to pick up. I meant to pick up Peaches and Cream, but I accidentally picked up Nectar. This is Peaches and Cream, this is Nectar. So I'm gonna go back into this color. Just accept that there might be a little bit of shimmer there. So as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by Nectar, you can apply a much more exciting shade if you would like here. I want it to look extra opaque, so I'm just gonna continuously pack it on. Doesn't it look like I just have the biggest lid space right now? So now we're actually gonna take Nectar, and this is gonna be our inner corner highlight. So I'm just gonna pop that right here in this empty space that's dying to be highlighted. Now it's time for the wing, and for the wing I will be using the Smith Cosmetics 202 brush, and of course my Ingla gel liner. Alright, so I'm gonna do my eyeliner a little bit more straight. So I'm first gonna start off by lining closest to the lashes to make sure there's no gaps between the lashes and the liner. I'm just gonna make that line very lightly just in case I mess up. For these little cracks right here in gel liner, I like to go in with liquid liner and fix those because it's easier. I'm using the NYX matte liquid liner for this, which is a really great drugstore liner. And if your wing happens to connect to your brow, more power to you, you know? Let the wing fly. I'm gonna take some of that gel liner and also tightline the upper lash line. It is currently 1 a.m. here while I'm filming this, and I'm just thinking, dang, I wish I could just slay the makeup for the day, but all I can think about is how I'm gonna have to take off this Inglot gel liner once I'm done. And Inglot gel liner doesn't play. It does not play. So next I'm just gonna lightly coat my lashes with some mascara. This is one of my favorites, and it's the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. And of course I'm just gonna apply some false lashes. These ones are by Flutter Lashes, and they're the Slayla lashes by Makeup Shayla. She's a friend of mine and she collaborated with them. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and place these. Oops, abort, oh. Alright, so now moving on to the face. I'm going to do this really quickly. A lot of these steps you've already seen me do. I'm going to focus on the steps where I'm using new products. So I'm going to be using the Elsie foundation. I've used this foundation in the past, And when you first apply this foundation, it's a really light coverage, like just if you don't use a beauty blender especially. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that when I first tried it. But then the creator of this foundation, which is Lilith, she's a good friend of mine, she told me, yeah, you can apply it in layers and use a beauty blender. Like, even one layer is nice, but like I have a blemish here, you can still see. So when I found out I could layer it, I started doing that, and it's honestly amazing. And the weirdest thing about the foundation is that you could literally keep layering it and it doesn't look cakey. And then once the foundation dries, it looks, I don't know how to explain the way it looks, is almost as if somebody just sprayed you with like a Photoshop and it was like really tight and shiny. Not shiny like oily, but just satin and like tight. I love the way it dries. I'm gonna go in with the first layer all over, and then I'm going to go in a second time around. All right, so now it's time for concealer. I'm gonna be using the NARS Creamy Concealer in Ginger. You guys know I usually always use this. It has more of a peachy tone, so it cancels out any darkness around the eyes and brightens it up. So I use that just in the dark areas. Now I'm gonna use the NYX HD Concealer. This is in the shade 04. It's brighter, so this is gonna be more of a highlight type color. I like to always put the brightest concealer under my wing also, because it makes it look more Chad. And I'm gonna buff it out with my beauty blender. Then I turn the beauty blender around and buff out this line. So next I'm gonna go ahead and set the concealer with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. Just dip my beauty blender in there and grab about this much. I place most of it here and then blend it upwards. So for bronzer, I'm gonna be trying out this new one by Urban Decay, and it's Beach Bronzer in the shade Bronzed. Let me compare it to my MAC Give Me Sun just to see, just because I'm curious. Okay, so MAC Give Me Sun is a little bit warmer, which is not always a good thing for all skin types, especially if you're more fair. I like that this has a more cool undertone, but we'll see if it's too close to my skin tone. Let's see. Let's just see. I'm gonna be using a Sigma brush. This is a large angle contour. Ooh, it does show up on my skin. Oh, I like this bronzer. Just gonna go ahead and place that everywhere I usually place bronzer. And for the highlighter, I'm gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I like this highlighter because it gives you like a nice sheen. See that? I'm also gonna apply that to the tip of my nose. Cupid's bow. And for the blush, I'm gonna be using MAC Peachy Keen. This is one of my favorite blushes by MAC. I'm just using the same brush that I used for my bronzer, because ain't nobody got time. To finish off the makeup look, we're gonna do the lower lash line. I'm gonna go back into the first color we used in the crease, which was Summer Yum. I'm going to sweep that under the eye really quickly. Just a nice little smoke. Next, we're gonna take the ColourPop liner. This is in Zulu, and these liners are phenomenal. It's hard for me to show this on camera because, you know, I got contacts, but I'm gonna try really hard. Yeah, that's about as much as I can show. So I'm just gonna keep applying that until it's as opaque as I want. A fun way to incorporate color into any look, especially if you're more of a neutral person, is the waterline. You could do any color here. You could purple, gold. The world is your oyster, my friend. Do any color in the waterline. All right, so now I'm gonna go back into the dark brown color and really shade underneath the liner we just put in the waterline, just to add a little bit more depth, especially along the outer part of the eye. All right, so for lips, I'm gonna be using a ColourPop liquid lipstick. This is new. In the photo, I did the Bite Beauty one that I created in the lab with them, but since it's not for sale, I decided to just use a different color. This one is Chi, and I'm gonna use the ColourPop liner in Taurus. This is like a really browny color, like a really nudie brown. So I could possibly look a little, we'll see how it looks on my skin tone. Ooh, okay. Alright guys, so that's it for the makeup tutorial. We are all done. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Ow, ow, the Sweet Peach palette just slammed on my finger. Bye. Hasta luego. Que te vaya bien.